I hit record, and oh my goodness, today is September. I can't even believe it. September 1st, Tuesday night. Thanks for jumping on. So as I promised, we have a guest speaker tonight, Bianca. I'm going to let her formally introduce herself, but as I mentioned on our team page, she's a two-star diamond. She's actually sponsored by Ali Upham, or Vaughn, which is her last name now.
Upham. Ali
Okay.
Upham.
Who's a 15-star diamond down in Florida. But nevertheless, Bianca and I actually met through a diamond page, and someone was asking where coaches were from, and it turns out she's from Brooklyn, and we've been trying to get together for about 2 months now. It hasn't really worked out. But her and I just connected, and I wanted her to kind of share. So I'm going to mute out whoever else jumped on. It echoed. No problem. I'm just going to actually mute everyone out here except for Bianca. Oops. Mute. Oh no, where's her name? Here we go. There we go. So I'm going to let her introduce herself and share her story. She's going to have some great tips. So I hope you have your notebooks ready. And at the end, if you have questions for her, feel free to ask. So Bianca, I'm going to let you take it away. I'm going to mute myself out.
Awesome. Thanks, you guys, for having me on your team call. This is the first time I'm actually a guest speaker on somebody else's team, so I'm pretty excited. My name is Bianca Prieto. I live in Bushwick, Brooklyn with my husband and our cute little boy who is stubborn and only took one nap today, so I rushed out of his room as quickly as possible to hop on here with you. But yes, I am a lifetime two-star diamond. My first diamond is a coach out of Canada, and she came to me through the customer lead program, coach lead program. And she's just been amazing. She's on my strong leg. So for a long time, that really, really killed my soul because I was like, volume, I need volume. And then I didn't really have any players on my weak leg. So I signed up my husband and I worked the crap out of his account until I got him to diamond. And so now my weak leg volume is like inching closer and closer and closer to my strong leg volume, which means more and more and more money. So for a long time, I was chasing rank, and I was stuck at diamond for a long time until Ricky hit a diamond, and I was 1-star. And then about 6 weeks later, I started qualifying for 2-star. So it's been a long time. I've been a coach since February of 2013. I signed up in January of 2013 for the new year. I was a New Year's resolution girl. I signed up with Ali. I've known her for years. We both moved to Orlando at about the same time, and she was my instructor at the gym. She taught turbo kick at the YMCA. So we were both like these young, like 24-year-old girls going out all the time, having so much fun. And we're surrounded by like moms and kids and old men at the Y. So she came in like a breath of fresh air to the YMCA, and I was like, you're my best friend. Let's go. So we started our friendship a long time ago, but then she became my coach. I've always been relatively thin. I was involved in sports in high school. Genetically, the women in my mom's family are thin. The women in my dad's family are not. But as I moved through relationships with men that were good, that were not so good, my weight kind of fluctuated. And when I moved to Florida, I was almost 140 pounds, which for my frame was a lot. I started at the YMCA. I joined Turbo Kick. I did all those things. And then I actually started dating my husband long distance. And when you get comfortable because you're like, I'm in love and we're just going to eat at every restaurant we can find. And then pretty soon you're like 15 pounds heavier you were than when you met. And I was sitting on his couch here in New York City. We were long distance Florida to New York. I was sitting on his couch and I looked down and I was like, and I sucked it in. And I was like, I hope he didn't see that. I hope he didn't see that. And then I was like, okay, whatever. And then that night we were getting ready to go out, and I was getting ready, and he was like in the shower or something. He wasn't in there, but I saw what I looked like in the mirror from the back, and I was like, oh my God, what happened to me? I live in Florida. I'm in a bathing suit 11 months out of the year at pool parties at the beach. What's going on? And so I called up Ali and I was like, help me. I can't go into 2013 like this. And she was like, all right, I've got this challenge group started. This is what we're going to do. And she hooked me up with Turbo Fire because she knew how much I loved Turbo Kick at the gym. So also at that point in my life, I was kind of at a standstill with my career. I'm a journalist. I'm a newspaper reporter, and I was covering crime, and I was absorbing a lot of the negativity that was surrounding me and my life. I was drinking a lot. I, like, not to be gross, but my urine was like dark and smelly because I drank no water. I had really bad skin. My nails were constantly like chipping and cracking. My hair wouldn't grow. I was really, really, really stressed out because of work. And because I was drinking a lot, I was eating crap food. Like, we hit up 7-Eleven after a night out and like buy hot dogs and Cheetos and nachos and salt and vinegar chips. And it's not a good situation. Also, I was like stuck in my career and I didn't want to do what I was doing anymore, where I was doing it. And so when I started a challenge group with Allie, I kind of like reinvigorated my whole life. And she challenged me to set goals. So fitness goals, non-fitness goals. And I put on my vision board that I had wanted to be like continue my relationship with Ben and to get a job in New York City, because what journalist doesn't want to work in New York City, right? So I wrote those goals down somewhere in February, maybe end of January. And on Valentine's Day weekend, I had an interview in New York City for a job that I got eventually. And then on the day before my 30th birthday, I was offered the position in New York City. And it was like my whole life started moving forward again. And secretly, in January, I had started saving all of Allie's posts that she had been putting up in our challenge group and like saving them to an Excel spreadsheet, because I was like, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to steal her posts. I'm going to, challenge my own friends and family to do this. And when I expressed my interest to her, she was like, oh my God, sign up as a coach. I'll give you all my posts. You don't have to steal them. I'll just give them to you. And I was like, what? I can do this? And she was like, yeah, and you could like get your Shakeology for free. And I was like, huh? Like, I was just going to do this because I thought it was cool. And so my first month that I signed up as a coach, I got like Success Club 15. And she was like, go, keep going. And I was like, what's the big deal? This is so easy. And other girls in my class or whatever, the new coach camp that we ran, they were like, couldn't get Success Club 2. And I was like, oh, are you asking people? Like, are you talking to people about that? So anyway, that's kind of how I started becoming a coach. It was really awesome at first, when I moved to New York City, I kind of dropped off a little bit. So it took me a while to rank advanced, took me a while to get to Emerald. I didn't really understand what I was doing. I was just like selling the crap out of challenge packs. And I was like, hey, free money. And then fast forward to so I moved to New York in April March. I started work in March in the financial district. And then June/July, I got pregnant. Oopsie. Bye-bye, abs. Bye-bye. Strong muscles. Hello. Toilet, where I spend all of my time puking now. I'm going to do. Can you guys hear me still? Yeah, internet unstable. Okay. So, anyway, I didn't want to go back to work because here in New York City, we don't have any friends. We don't have any family. And so I was praying for like a way to get out of my job. Well, I must have prayed a little bit too hard because they shut down my entire division and they like laid off my entire office. So I became a coach full time when my son was a week old. So talk about stress. Like, crap, I have to make this work. I'm a diamond coach. My best player is on my strong leg. I'm making $150 a week. And what am I going to do? How am I going to make this work? And, being a first-time mom, no family, no friends, well, no, like dependable friends, kind of like, here's a newborn, take care of him. It was really a struggle. But the thing that I learned is that I had to be consistent and I had to show up. So if you guys are taking notes, here's a couple of things that I think that you guys should tap into in your coaching journey. The first thing that I learned is that you really, really, really have to be consistent. You have to show up every single day. Think about your coaching business as if it were like an actual storefront. If you had a store, you would have to go every single day, right? You couldn't just like show up on like Wednesday and like hope everybody came and bought everything that day. You have to show up. And if you can only check in like for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that's better than showing up once a week. And so what do I mean by showing up? Like, you know, start your challenge groups and be part of them, be present in them every single day. Set a reminder on your phone if you're super busy, and just make sure that you spend 5 minutes a day checking in on your challengers, responding to their comments, responding to their posts, liking what they have to say, giving feedback, sending messages, posting about your own fitness journey on your Facebook page and on your Instagram page. Like, people have to know that you are fitness. Like, they have to correlate the two, you and your fitness journey. It doesn't mean that you have to be like perfect, or you have to be a trainer, or you have to know everything under the sun, but you have to be dedicated and you have to be consistent. So I always train my coaches that you should be posting 3 times a day and building consistency. If you're new to social media, or if you're new to fitness, or if you're just like new to posting and you're more of like a lurker, then start building natural trust with your audience. Like, know who your audience is. For me, like, my audience is all in Colorado. I live in Brooklyn. Like, you know, I have to be cognizant that when I'm posting, it's 2 hours behind me. So know your audience and post at least, you know, 3 times a day, 2 times if you're nervous. People always are like, oh, it's too much. You know, I'm going to annoy my friends. Well, yeah, if you post back to back to back to back about the same thing and you're sharing annoying stuff, yeah, that's going to suck. But to be really honest, like, nobody's following you that closely. Not everybody. So post 3 times a day. Be consistent. Show up. The other thing that I had to learn very early on is that I can't take things personally, and neither should you. People are going to say no to you more often than they're going to say yes. And if you internalize every single no and think that it has something to do with you, you're going to be in a world of hurt. When people say no, it's because they're not ready. And you can't force somebody who's not ready to take part in what it is that we do. Because if you force them, it's not going to work. And we know that. So try to just think about, like, okay, what are the reasons why they're saying no? Let me try to understand them. Let me be in their shoes. Maybe they really, like, legit don't have the money. Encourage them to save up $5 a month if that's all they can really afford. Be understanding and don't take it all on you, like, oh my gosh, everybody hates me. When I made my top 10 list, I have a really, really encouraging group of friends and family. And when I made my top 10 list of all the people that I was going to approach, and I was like sure that they were just going to join me and be coaches and we were going to do this all together as one big happy family, you want to know how many of them said yes to me? 0. Not a single one of my top 10 people said yes. They were all like, that's great, Bianca. Cool. We support you. Go on with your bad self. You could do it. We'll watch. And 2.5 years later, guess what? They're all being like, good job, Bianca. Go on with your bad self. Proud of you. We're watching. But they're not doing it. And that's okay. That doesn't mean my best friend hates me. That doesn't mean my favorite cousin hates me. That doesn't mean my dad hates me, although he is on Shakeology now. But, you know, it's like, you can't force people if they're not ready. So don't take things so personally. And then, what was the third thing? I left my notes in my son's nursery and I can't go back in there. So be consistent and show up. Don't take things personally. And, I'm failing here. Kiera, do you have a question for me or something?
I do actually have a question for you. Hopefully that thought will come back to you and you can just interrupt me anytime. So you had spoken earlier a little bit about, you signed up your spouse, and I know a lot of the ladies on the call either have signed up their spouse or family member to kind of just help them even hit emerald drinking, but you worked your butt off on both business centers, your own and his. Yeah. So can you dive into a little bit more about, obviously how many people you had to interact to even get there, to even get those people under both of them? And obviously your your team and your organization's growing, what are you doing to keep them going and moving forward with all of this? Because as we all know, it's an up and down roller coaster ride. And that's what we kind of talked about last week, the roller coaster of coaching. But I'd like to hear your side of that.
Okay. So when I decided to open up Ben's account, I kind of in like December, I decided like, I don't know what it was. I think I was like shopping and listening to an old national wake up call. And it was like, I had that moment that a lot of coaches have there. I was really like, why not me? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do all the things that a top coach does? I can, and I will. And I'm deciding right now that that's going to be my reality. So my husband's a videographer professionally. He has like Emmys in lighting and like videography and shooting and whatever. Like I'm blessed to have that in my pocket. I'm a journalist. I know how to speak on camera, I think. And so what I did is I had him help me create a 5-day coach sneak peek. I had like recorded them myself on my MacBook Pro, and I was like, babe, look what I did. I'm so proud. Do you think that people will want to join my team? And he was like, hell no. No. He's like, we're going to shoot this again. I'm going to shoot it. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to light it. We're going to make this sing. And I was like, oh, okay. So, my husband, who's like super easygoing, when we started shooting, he was like, stop talking. Practice what you're going to say. Do it over again. Stop doing that. Stop looking at your paper. You know, he was like really like, he works with professional journalists all day long. And I'm like, I'm just trying to get people on my team. But it helped because we created these really awesome, professional looking, professionally edited, professionally lit videos. It was like, do you want to join my team? Yeah. Why wouldn't you? We're cool. You know, and it looked a lot better than being on our MacBook Pro. So if that's all the tools that you have, then like obviously use them. But if you have the ability to have somebody shoot a video for you holding your phone, or get one of those like little tripod thingies that, you know, have the bendable legs, get one of those, but make it so it looks like you're just not staring at your computer. Clean up your background, that sort of thing. Anyway, I digress. That was in January. I got my team really excited about it. We held our first coach sneak peek in February, and I decided I was signing my husband up on February 1st with a challenge pack because I needed to make Success Club 10, and he was going to help me get there. So what I did is that I I left my business center alone. I kept it going at its minimum, and I threw everything I had into his account. I signed him up on my weak leg. I was really cognizant of where I was placing people because when I was a newer coach, I was all willy-nilly, just put them here, balance it out. I had no game plan. This one, I knew that one of my cousins that I was signing up, I knew she was going to be a rock star. I put her on one leg. This other girl who I knew was going to hit Emerald quickly, I put her on his weak leg. And I was just like, anybody who was wanting to be a discount coach, anybody who expressed any sort of an interest, I threw them on his team. I made sure that I was making, backdoor approaches. I was, commenting on everything that my challengers were doing. If they were rock star leaders in my challenge groups, I sent messages to them privately and let them know, like, hey, I'm watching you. I care about you. You're doing great. Why don't you be a coach? You could do this and get your shake on. They're like, oh, okay. So eventually I loaded his team with about 15 coaches. Is that right? Yeah, I think like between 12 and 15 coaches. And I made sure that I had more than the minimum 4 on each leg because I knew that some of these girls were only in it for the discount and that they weren't going to be players. And that meant that they were going to either drop off or they were going to postpone their Shakeology, and I couldn't depend on that. So I loaded as many people as I could. My coach told me, like, reserve your business builders, reserve your, like, game players for your own team. But I was like, you know what? I need to open up that second business center. I have to. My second business center will allow me to get, place more coaches on my weak leg under Ben's weak leg, which would make my cycle bonus and my income even better. Right now, as a coach with one business center, anytime somebody buys Shakeology from you, you make a $35 commission. Okay? When you have a second business center, and you're here, your weak leg, so your spouse is here, and you add your second business center under here under your spouse's weak leg, you want to know what that commission on Shakeology goes up to? $90. $90. So anytime anybody now buys a bag of Shakeology from my second business center, we make $90. And how it's like divvied up, you know, and my secondary account gets this much, his account gets that much, my big account gets this much. It's all $90. So keep that in mind. But I focused my efforts on recruiting coaches, on recruiting new coaches, giving my team a forum where they could recruit coaches and it not be some awkward conversation where you're like word vomiting because you're brand new and you don't know what to say, or you're not even brand new and you still don't know what to say because this job is kind of hard to describe. We gave them away where it was like a Facebook group. Everybody was interacting. It was fun. It looked good. My team was proud of it. They were proud to like show their friends and family this thing and introduce them to it. And so that's how I built my husband's secondary account, or his account, to get our secondary account. And then you asked a second question.
I did, but I actually have another question.
Okay.
So out of curiosity, because I heard someone else actually ran into this issue where they were building up their spouse's account as well, but when they were signing up that coach, they didn't tell them, right? So that prospect was signing up and was like, oh, wait a minute, this isn't the person's name. Who's this guy? And they actually backed out of it because it looked shady, basically, and they ended up signing up with someone else. So how do you present it or approach that? They're being coached and mentored by you, but you're signing them up under your hubby's account.
Right. So what my secondary account is called, like my big account is called Bianca Prieto. That's my account. My second account, Ben's account, is called Team Fit Victory, which is my team account. And so everything that's on that profile, it's a picture of he and I together. In the bio, it says we do this. We built this team together. We are doing this together. It's all about we and being the team. Most of the people who I sign up, I know them, you know, or they're like referred to me and there's like a little bit of trust built up. So what I tell them, or was telling them, because I don't really sign people to his account anymore. I just need to make sure he maintains Emerald. I just tell them like, hey, you know what? My primary account is getting really full and it's hard to keep track of everybody. And I want to be able to keep track of you appropriately so you don't get lost in the mix. So I'm going to have you sign up under my team account. You'll see my husband's name, but that doesn't matter. It's still me. It has his name under it for some reason, but it's still me.
Awesome. Does anyone else have a question? I'm just going to spew these questions out tonight.
What's that?
I was asking if anyone else in the team had questions, because if not, I'm going to keep spewing out questions. The other thing I wanted to ask you today, so you spoke about sneak peek, and I know we spoke about this a little bit through private message. And so we usually in the past have done kind of like a call, but we're looking into doing more of kind of like a sneak peek. So my question is, do you run them monthly? And my second question is, if you do run them monthly, numbers wise, do you see it fluctuate? Do you see it consistently increase, or is it up and down?
Sorry, I was like turning on the AC because it's hot in here. Yes, what I did is, so since like June, I started making my calendar really consistent. So the first week of the month, I do my free 5-day challenge group. And I advertise that every other month. I hold it every month, but like, you know, this month I'll be advertising for it because last month I did personal invites. The second week of the month, that's my, why am I drawing a blank? That's my coach sneak peek. That's my coach sneak peek week. My entire team is invited to participate. They can invite whoever they want, bring on whoever they want. Third week, my challenge group starts. Again, if I have coaches who are new or only have like one challenger and don't have enough for a full group, they can add them in with me. And then the last week of the month, I spend recruiting coaches for the next month, or just like onboarding people. I spend a lot of time on onboarding. And then with numbers wise, like it depends on how hard I push my team to recruit. So like speed of the leader, speed of the pack, right? So if I'm really like gung-ho about, you know, have you done your 5 invites, or do you have your 5 people to get into our group this month? How are you doing? Like post, you know, when you have an invitee, blah, 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 blah. What's your buy-in for this month? Not monetarily, but just, you know, how much skin in the game do you have? When I'm hyping it up, they get hyped up about it. This last month, I was traveling in Colorado trying to help my dad move out of his house that he's lived in for 20 years. Girl, I didn't have a single participant in that group. And we had like maybe 15 people, 15 guests, and I think maybe like 2 people signed up, but I was like, whatever, y'all do this. I'll make the group and I'll show up once a day, but this is your thing. I got a house to clean out. Sometimes it happens like that, but usually, but at least it gets my coaches in the habit of inviting folks, talking to people, making it less awkward, putting the opportunity in front of them. And I remembered what my third point was, speaking of putting the opportunity in front of them. So there's a saying that you reap what you sow, right? Like, if you don't plant the seed, if you don't talk to people, if you don't invite people, if you don't show up, if you don't demonstrate that this is what you're doing and plant that idea in somebody's mind, nothing will ever grow. And these people will never come back. I have had people who have been watching me since I started in February 2013 who are coming to me now saying, hey, I remember when you talked to me about this 2 years ago. I wasn't ready then, but I'm ready now. Can we start? And if I'd never approached that person, they wouldn't know to come to me. So just remember, like, scatter seeds, sow what you can, but plant them, throw them out there, throw them as far and as wide as you can, because they'll come back. So don't be afraid to invite people. Don't be icky, but don't be afraid either.
Awesome. I have one last question. And of course, anyone has questions.
Yes, I know you guys have to have questions.
So obviously, you've been in the business just about as long as I have. And, we have our ups, we have our downs, we have our days that we want to scream on top of a building that, we hit rank or bonus. And obviously anyone outside of Beachbody Land doesn't even understand what we're talking about. And then we have our lows where it's like, oh my gosh, you just want to throw your hands up in the air. So this past month of August, over across the board, our team had, a little bit struggling point, and I'm sure you had similar experiences with people going back to school, and fitness is like on the bottom of the list. So in times like that, and that, you feel like is a struggling moment for you, what do you do to kind of remotivate yourself, right? Because there's only so much Allie can do for you to motivate you, and there's only so much I can do for these ladies. What do you do personally for yourself to say, you know what, I'm back in this and I'm going to just keep pushing forward despite the lows?
I signed up for Wine of the Month Club, and I just go find the bottom of that bottle. No, I'm totally kidding. Totally kidding. I wish I could do that. No, I think about, it's so easy to get down and to start going down that path. And I don't know if you guys are like this, but man, I'm like a dog with a bone. I get a bad thought in my head, and then pretty soon I'm like, I'm quitting. I can't do this. How can I sell workout DVDs for the rest of my life? Like, what am I getting myself into? And I think it's like dumb. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I posted today about a girlfriend of mine who I've known since we were like 10. And she lost 100 pounds because I introduced her to Beachbody. She now has like a better quality of life. She will be there for her kids. She can like play with them instead of being, stuck on the couch or whatever. And I think about all the people that I helped and all the people that are dependent on, and the way that they motivate me. And I try to remember the bigger picture and the greater good. Like, okay, yeah, we sell workout DVDs for people to work out at home. That sounds kind of cheesy. I admit it. And you have to admit it too. It's cheesy. But we're not just doing that. We're like changing lives. Think about the person who comes to mind right now who you know that you are legitimately making an impact in their life. And if you just let those silly thoughts navigate your future of like, I'm not going to do this anymore, who would you be letting down? What sort of changes would you stop making it for other people? I think about my team. I think about these women who look to me for leadership, who share like their most intimate, private parts of their life with me. And I'm like, I can't leave them. And not only that, for me, like, I can't leave my son. I can't right now go back to an office. Maybe when he's bigger, maybe when he's in school and he doesn't need me, and maybe when he can like talk and tell me if something happens to him, but right now I can't do that. And so I have to make this work. I have to make this work. And if that means I have to invite 30 people in one day, I'll do that. So.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Anybody have any questions?
I want to hear at least one question from somebody else. Come on.
I have a question, Kira. It's Marissa. It's Marissa.
Go ahead, Marissa.
Talking quietly.
Okay.
I know you mentioned that you're in this for the long run and you're going to make this work. Because, well, I feel the same way. I'm sure everyone feels the same way when they're trying to make this their full-time job. But how do you plan for the future, I guess? Because, a lot of backlash that I receive is from family members saying, well, where's your 401k? How do you save for the future doing something like this? And it's hard being a coach that's starting out, but I know it can be something where you could put, this part is going into a savings account and this part is the stuff that we could spend on utilities and rent or whatever else. But how do you figure yourself doing this in 20 years if you could?
Right. That's a really good question. And that's something I think about. To be really honest right now, we are like paycheck to paycheck. What I quit my job and become a full-time coach had I not had my baby, not until I was more financially secure and closer to making my big girl job income. But you're a steward of your own money, right? You don't need a company to have a 401k. You can invest in, with a bank. You can create you can go to a financial planner and they can help you invest your money. Mm-hmm. You decide where your money goes. And you know what? Unless your family's going to start paying your bills or paying for your 401k, they don't have any say in it. Sort of like your husband or whomever your partner is, they don't have a say.
Yeah.
They don't have a life. And until they start paying your bills, thanks for your opinion. I appreciate it. That's me.
I love it.
At that point.
My dad is constantly I'll tell my dad oh my gosh, Dad, this was my biggest week yet. You won't believe what happened. This is how much money we made. This is how much money we brought home. I'm so excited. My dad goes, well, when are you going to get a real job? Why do you get a real job? Why do you even go to college? You're wasting your degree. You're just a mom. And I'm like, oh, you're so lucky you're my dad. You're so lucky that I have some bit of respect for you because I wouldn't put up with that shit from anybody.
That was a great question, Marissa. Anyone else? Or else I'll pick on you ladies because I know you ladies always have questions. Anyone? No? We're good? I know we're at 9:35 or 5 minutes over, but.
Oh, okay.
Ladies are good. You can give me a thumbs up if you're good. Thumbs up. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Bianca, for jumping on. I totally appreciate it and love that you're just totally real with us and inspired all of us as well.
Thank you. You guys have a great evening. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Good night.
Thank you.